What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the ShockerRacing garage. We are finally going to be getting back to working on the C6 Grand Sport Corvette. We got this thing back from paint. We ended up having the whole thing repainted. If you saw our first video, this paint actually looked like somebody had taken like sandpaper to the whole thing. It was pretty bad. Now this is a 2011 Grand Sport, and what we're going to be working on today, if you can see, these headlights are some of the worst headlights I've ever seen. I don't know what's been going on with these things, but they are so gummed up, chewed up, beat up. I don't know what to call it, but it's pretty bad. Hard to see at night. So what I did was I picked up this 3M Headlight Restoration Kit from Amazon, and we're gonna find out if this is any good or not. I have never tried one of these restoration kits. I was looking into doing the lens replacement. Those seem to be options around $100, but a lot of tedious work to pull the lights, pull the lenses, all that nonsense. So I'm hoping to avoid that since this is a budget build, and I'm gonna give it a try. So let me show you how bad these headlights are, and then we're gonna start this process of sanding, buffing, and then kind of clear coating these lenses to hopefully get these looking a lot better. So you can see how crazy, like hazed and fogged these things are, and I'm hoping that this is all on the outside and not on the inside of the lens, and that this 3M kit will actually buff all that out. And let me show you the passenger side here. You can see it is equally as bad. So we're gonna go ahead and open up this kit, check everything out, and see what we got to do to get these things polished up. All right, so if you check Amazon for headlight restoration kits, there are a million different options. I decided to go with this 3M Ultra Headlight Restoration Kit just because it is designed to work with your own drill. So I'm going to use my Ryobi drill with the sanding discs. It also includes the masking tape, even though I already have some blue painter's tape. But I just thought it was nice that this whole kit came together for 20 bucks. And I'm no way sponsored by 3M here, so I just thought it looked like the most kind of complete kit for such a serious job here. Now it is supposed to come with, well, you can see the first thing I pulled out is the actual sanding pad here. So what this is gonna do is this is gonna go in your drill. And then you've got a handful of different various sanding discs, and there's supposed to be multiple, so you can do each side with the different grit discs, and these will just stick on to the pad. So when you're buffing out using your drill, the sanding pads will just stick to that, okay? So those are a handful of those. This kit even comes with a rubber glove. Got no more discs. Got the headlight clear coat. So this is going to be probably the final step. Once we're all done polishing, you're going to put this clear coat on in hopes of sealing them nice and clear again. Got a bunch of sanding discs, so a lot more in here than I even realized. Got your instructions, and then this is the masking tape that it comes with. So I don't know about that, because I would much rather use this 2-inch roll and get all the way around the light rather than just using this thin little stuff. So I don't know, maybe I'll save that for something else. I've got this stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this 3M blue painter's tape. First thing I'm gonna do is I am going to go ahead and mask off the whole area around the light, just so you don't end up accidentally sanding this nice fresh new paint job here. So let's get that done here real quick. Okay, so it looks like this kit does come with some pretty good instructions, some actual nice color photos and things like that. After you get it taped off, or actually you could do this beforehand, I probably jumped the gun a little bit, but you definitely want to make sure you clean it off with some soapy water. Just make sure you want to always have a nice clean surface before you go ahead and start buffing on it. So I'm just going to give it a good wipe. Make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, so once you've got the headlight nice and clean, you're gonna wanna grab your drill. Again, ours is the Ryobi drill here, and your sanding disc thing here. It does say to put the gold P500 sanding disc on. So I have already placed that on there, and you want to make sure to try to have it as centered as possible. Okay, so I have locked that on there, and I think it's time to start sanding. I set my Ryobi drill to the slower speed so that it's not going to be like crazy fast. It says to use light to medium pressure, and you want to constantly be moving the drill. You don't ever want to just stop in one place, because you could actually burn through the plastic, and you don't want to do that. So we're just going to start working this nice and slow here. Okay, so you want to keep an eye on your disc when it starts to look like this, where it's completely covered. That means it's time for a new disc, but you can see that it has taken off a lot of nastiness here. So hopefully this is sanding it up. It should get nice and hazed over, and we're gonna go ahead and check it now. I do see, I had this line here, and I think that's paint overspray from when the body shop had it and probably didn't tape it off quite right. But I'm gonna see if I can wipe some more of that off before I grab another disc and keep sanding. So this is how the P500 disc started, and this is what it looks like after the first round. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this one and continue with some more sanding. All right, and so they give you basically three of these P500 for each headlight. So I've toasted the second one, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the third one. Although I think I'm pretty close to being good here. It does say that the more you sand, not the more you sand, but the better job you do of sanding here, the better the next steps will be. So I'm gonna do one more coat. I do have a little bit of kind of where it's still kind of clear up here, and you really want it to be this nice uniform haze over the whole headlight. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it one more time. All right, I think that's gonna do it for the P500 sanding disc. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it off one last time. Okay, so next we're gonna switch over to the P800 discs, which are the white, much more fine disc. And essentially gonna do the exact same thing again, just to clean up the scratches from the very first round, and wanna get it nice and clean here. So. All right, we're gonna wipe that off and switch discs and do it one more time. Okay, so with these P800 white discs, there's two for each side. So I'm gonna do the second one here. Even though this looks like it's nice and clear, I shouldn't say clear, but nicely, evenly sanded. I'm gonna go over it one more time just to make sure everything is good. One thing I'm definitely noticing is that this does make a lot of dust. So for those of you that are really anal about your paint, you might want to cover a lot more of your paint. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this round down, and we should be just about at the point we are ready to do the refinishing disc, which should actually start to shine it back up and make it clear again. So you can see it is super hazy now. You really can't see through it at all. So for your next step, you're gonna wanna grab the polishing pad, which is basically gonna be like your wet sanding pad. It's a 3000 grit. It's a little bit more of a foam on the end. And now you wanna make sure you've got your water bottle ready, because you're gonna wanna keep the lens nice and wet, as well as your pad. Again, this is your pretty much wet sanding the headlight to bring the clear back out. So you're gonna start by spraying some water on the pad and on the headlight. And as you're going, if any of this becomes dry, make sure you keep applying the water. All right, so I'm gonna keep going with a couple of passes with the wet sanding, and again, make sure you keep it nice and wet. You wanna make it, make sure that you get it all buffed out nicely. You will see some of that white residue that kind of turns into like, I don't know, like baking soda looking or something. Just make sure you do a handful of passes until you start to really see that white residue. At this point is when you're gonna start the clear coating process. Basically, we're gonna remove the tape here, make sure it's all nice and clean, and then you're gonna use these wipes to actually wipe the clear coating onto here. And that's supposed to kind of bring out the clarity in the headlight. At this point, I was hoping to just do this whole one and then be able to show them side by side. But unfortunately, what has to happen is I need to use this one packet on both headlights. So I need to do the beginning 3 stages on that headlight, get it ready for the clear so that I can clear both of them at the same time. Then you have to allow it to dry before applying the second packet of coating. So unfortunately, I got to jump on that one. I'm not going to make you sit through me doing that whole thing again, but I'm going to jump over to that headlight, get it knocked out, and then we can come back to the clear coating process. So based on what I know about like sanding and polishing, it seems weird to me that after the wet sanding, they don't call for a buffing stage. And you can see there's still a good amount of haze to the headlight on both sides. I have completed all the sanding and both still have this haze. And this 3M kit is basically just calling for wiping on this headlight clear coat and basically calling it a day. So this seems odd to me. Seems like there should be a polishing stage in here. I have seen kits that have like a foam pad and some compound and you buff it out so that it gets shiny. So I'm not sure how this is gonna work, but we're gonna give it a try. This is why you want the one glove. Basically they give you one so when you're handling the clear coat wipe, you're not just touching it with your bare hand. So you're gonna grab one of these 3M headlight clear coat packs, and this one thing is gonna do both headlights for the first coat. So we're gonna apply this to both headlights, then we're gonna let it dry for, they say 5 to 15 minutes. It's pretty humid here, so it might take a little longer for it to dry. So I pulled the wipe out. They say to do overlapping about 25% or so, at least on this first coat, and not to do any touch-ups if you make mistakes on your first pass. They say don't unfold the wipe, just keep it folded up. So I think the first coat is done on that one. I'm gonna move over to the other headlight here and apply this quickly. So now it says to just let that dry for 5 to 15 minutes. So we'll wait and see what happens. Okay, final clear coat step. After the first step, I can see some of the lines from me going across. As of right now, the lens is a lot better than when I started, but still not perfect. Got one last step. I grabbed a second glove because I didn't want to sit here for 15 minutes with the one glove they gave you on. So I wish they would give you 2 gloves so you didn't have to sit around with this wet glove. But grabbing the second one out of the kit here, and they say you want to make sure that you fix any of the mistakes you made the first time, like any spots you missed or anything you need to touch up. So I'm going to try to go a different angle on all this. And I'm pretty sure I can see some spots right in through here that still have haziness that had I been able to see or know, I probably could have sanded more into there. Unfortunately, I think this is gonna be as good as it's gonna get. With that being done, it says to give it about an hour to fully dry and see the difference. So these things have dried up after the second stage of clear coat has been applied. Now they do look, I'm gonna say 85–90% better than they were. I think they're actually gonna be functional for driving at night now, but I wish I would have been able to tell and do some more sanding before attempting the clear coat stages, and I'll show you why here. If you can see, there's definitely some hazing still in here, especially. I think I did a pretty good job throughout a lot of this. There's some light minor swirling, which I would have been okay with, but this stuff in here really could have used some more sanding. And the other side turned out pretty good, but there is still some stuff, you know, some swirls and things like that in here that I would have liked to have come out a little better. But for now, this being a budget Corvette restoration, I guess you might call it, or repairing, it's gonna do okay for now. I may at some point swap out these headlights to something else, but for now I've got other more important things to work on. I do need to figure out what's going on with the fog lights on this thing. Both fog lights have like fallen into the bumper. They're flopping around in there, but they're not plugged in, they're not mounted, they're not hooked up. And then you can see I got the side marker on this side, but on the passenger side, it is broken out. So I'm gonna need to get one of those. Let me know what you guys think for side markers. Should I just get a new factory one, or are there some LED ones that look cool? Maybe some blackout ones. And then, yeah, let me show you in here. We've got, yeah, the fog lights are literally just flopping around in here, not plugged in, nothing. So I don't know what the heck's going on in there. I'm probably gonna have to pull this bumper off. They're still not quite lined up right here with the, you know, the fender. So still got some work to do. Got to change out some emblems, and the next big thing I'm going to tackle is the passenger window started not like going down all the way. So I got to pop that door panel off, and then we will see what's going on inside that door. I'm hoping it's something simple. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to check that out next. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think this is a good temporary fix, or if you don't mind doing this maybe every couple of months, redoing it. I don't know how long it's going to last, but that's what I've heard, is that it doesn't last very long. So maybe as I did it the next couple of times for $20, you know, each time, might not be a bad thing, and maybe it'll polish up and get a little better each time. So if you have enjoyed this video, or you're interested in seeing more of what we do with this Grand Sport, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and drop some comments below if you have any questions or what your thoughts are on this kit.